Hi guys, I'm back. I'm sure you're all very familiar with a game called Breath of the Wild from 2019. And if you're not, you're completely missing out because there's a particular character called Link of Hyrule, and he's very cool. So that's why I decided to draw him every single day for a week to get rid of my crippling art block, and not because I like to suffer. So let's see how much I can improve in 1 week of Link drawings. And let's all just pray that they don't end up like my previous unfortunate Link tragedies. For my first day, I surprisingly learned a lot. It was the first thing I've drawn in like 2 months, so I allowed myself to draw whatever felt right and use any colors or techniques I wanted to get back into things. So of course, I had to draw Link with a korok. Koroks are little creatures that are hiding everywhere, and they reward you with a tiny poop when you find them. So I might be a little bit obsessed with them. I realized that previously I've been drawing in a way that copies how I drew before, so it always caused me to go into art block. So I'm actually really proud of how this drawing came out for my first one. A mistake that I need to work on that many other artists also make is to stop avoiding backgrounds. Some people call it a preference, but I call it a mistake. You can see that the days following, that's what I'm going to be focused on. So this is the final result. Please let me know what you think I could change. To my surprise, the second day was worse than the first one. I'll forgive you if you don't know what a korok is, but if you don't know who Zelda is, I don't even know what to say. So I'll just assume that you know her. And what's Link without Zelda? I love their dynamic and their personalities, especially in Breath of the Wild. So I had to portray that in this piece. But don't get your hopes up, because as you can see, I drew Zelda with Link sitting on the grass. You can see I really wanted to draw background this time, with Zelda trying to look at Link's arm and have like a bug on his arm or something. But it's literally my second day in a couple of months without drawing, so I couldn't really expect myself to actually pull through with this. The facial expressions and full body, combined with their outfits and the background, completely overwhelmed me, so then the idea grew dull really fast and I had no option but to give it up. I stressed over it way too much, but I'm not going to let a mere drawing stress me out, so my drawing the next day was a lot better. But I did learn that I had a lot to work on. For instance, clothes, facial expressions, natural posing, and backgrounds. So let me know if you think I should have kept going. For day number 3, I decided that I had enough of not knowing how to pose and draw his outfit, and I really wanted to focus on lighting and rendering. All my skills are rusty right now, so I realized that slowly improving the small skills is the key to improving my Link drawings as a whole. Thus, I pinned Link's head onto a Pinterest model's body like that game Pin the Tail on a Donkey, and I relearned how values work. Before, if you remember, the way that I colored was like how a little kid draws in their coloring book, but colors don't really work like that. Light bounces off of different colors, and shadows change what the colors look like, and that's what makes rendering my worst enemy. So I did some research, aka looked on Instagram Reels, and I colored in black and white, and then I used multiply to add in colors, and then finally lightened where the light hits with overlay. It felt nice to give my brain a break from hallucinating the lighting by using a reference instead, so I'm pretty satisfied with how the result turned out. What I do think I need to work on is still the background clothes and learning how to get more into the nitty-gritty of details, which I don't really like doing. I know that's the whole job as an artist, so maybe I'm just fake or I'm lazy, but it's probably the biggest thing I need to get over. So this is the final result, and as always, let me know what you think of it. And also feel free to bash my drawings because I can definitely take the criticism. I need to know what I need to change. For day number 4, I took what I learned in day 3 and I tried to apply it to my own drawing. And my hallucinating brain was back in business. Kind of. I used a reference image for the pose, but used my own lighting, and I am not very happy with the result, to say the least. I don't know what I was imagining, but I couldn't recreate it. I also put him in clothes that I imagined, but you can obviously see that it still needs work. I feel bad for Link because in this picture he's kind of living up to like the Twink Link allegations, so I have to make it up to him in the next drawing. I did learn that perspective drawings are very hard and noted down that I need to work on that as well. So potentially, I'm going to make a future video. Since I don't really like this drawing, let's just move on quickly to day number 5. We're halfway done the challenge at this point, and I felt like I didn't progress through anything. So before my 5th drawing, I had to touch some grass. I found a korok, and my spirits were lifted. In my 5th drawing, I wanted to go back to his official outfit because I personally think he looks the best in this outfit. I like the blue, and it's just his vibe. So I wanted to go back to a more warm color scheme instead of the bluish color scheme from fan art number 5 that almost destroyed me. I tried drawing a simple pose with his sword and tried to stay true to his character design. I maybe failed a little bit at that, but I personally think that it's not too bad. I like how his face turned out and the light, so I'll mark this drawing a success. You might think differently though, so let me know if you like this drawing or not. I think in terms of lighting, I was slowly getting the hang of it, and I'm still suffering from no background-itis at this point, but I think it will definitely take more than a week to get out of that. So with such a simple piece out of the way, let's move on to day number 6. So for day number 6, my hallucinating brain was officially back in business, but I wanted to draw a piece that was in my head for real this time. So for context, spotlight drawings have never worked out for me. I try to draw them every once in a while, but I can never get them right. I literally tried it in like day 4 or 5 as well, and you can see that it was really bad. And I was determined to try again. So I drew him in, and I colored him, and made everything but one circle black, and then rendered it half to death. I feel like I could have rendered it a little bit more, but I'm actually okay with how it turned out, surprisingly. I would say it's 70% accurate to what I was imagining, but I usually only draw 10% of what I'm imagining, so I will take this. Also, are you proud of me? I finally drew my own background, even if it's just a plain wall with some strange paintings that I didn't have time to render out. And then I used chromatic aberration for the first time, which adds some blurring and red to the piece overall. I will definitely be using chromatic aberration more because it just adds some general moodiness to the piece, which I really like. And also, I like the name chromatic aberration. Day 7. I wanted to make a piece that brought together everything that I learned from this week, even if it wasn't that much. So that meant a proper background, lighting that matches the background, and korok poop. I also finally wanted to get Link's outfit correct, so I finally pulled up a picture of Link for reference, and I really recommend doing that. I don't know why I didn't do that sooner. And I thought it would be funny to draw Link yelling at a korok from Tears of the Kingdom for making us escort it to its friend. I used everything that I learned, and I tried to get as much into the details as I could, especially for rendering. Yeah, before you mention, I did use a reference for the background, that's why it looks so good. Because I know that I'm not there yet, but I will get there soon. This day's Link definitely took the longest out of all of them, but I am very glad that I didn't give up like I probably would have done in the past because I'm really satisfied with how the end result turned out. Although I know that I still have a million more things to learn, something that I think everyone should know is that you should always draw with your heart instead of your brain, because when you think about your art clinically, like I do, I overthink it and then it loses its substance. Although for me, thinking with my heart is very hard to do. I still consider myself a beginner artist because of how little I know and how lazy I am, but aren't we all, you know? So if you watched all the way to the end, take it as a sign to just draw something wherever you are and whenever you have the time, and the rewards will come, even if they do take a long time to come. But just keep it up, because if you work hard, it will pay off. For instance, it took me a week to go from this to this, and it feels nice that I was able to do this challenge and see how it turned out. So always stay persistent, you just have to keep going. So I hope you learned something. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more art videos. Drink some vegetable soup for me, and have a great day. Bye!